In this video, I will share with you what it means to be successful and 5 habits that successful people have. Watch this video to the end so you don't miss any of the 5 habits that are sure to make you successful. So what exactly is a successful person? You won't believe it, but to many, you are a successful person already. Each of you definitely has something that other people are jealous of. For example, someone may have 3 children, while someone else has been trying for years and still can't have a baby, and they consider other people who do have children successful. Another person may have an important high-profile position. So in the eyes of another, you might already be a successful person. You might have a job and a roof over your head or live in a large city. And for someone else, it's their goal in life, their dream. They think that if you live in a large city, it means you're a super successful person. But when you're already at that point, you might not even realize it. Turns out then that success is not some definite measure you set for yourself and fervently believe in. But instead it's the very sense of success and the ability to claim it. Just think about it. You could already be at a point in your life, at a certain position of success, but you don't even feel it. Many people have this notion that being successful always means being rich. But it really doesn't, since the money you have is a slightly different measure. A person may have plenty of money, yet they still don't have a sense of fulfillment or success, because wealth does not equal success. Though success does tend to come with wealth. Generally, wealth often shows some adequate connection to the world. It's an interesting thing. When I was interviewed for my first job in Moscow, they asked me, "Yulia, what does success mean to you?" And I still think about this question a lot. Back then I said that it's when you get more than you expect. So no matter the situation, when you get more than you expected, it's inherently a kind of success. And in this line of thought, what makes one unsuccessful is the massive expectations that things never meet for them. What makes one unhappy is the massive expectations that things never meet for them. So the more expectations a person has, and the more their life fails to meet those expectations, the less happiness and success they feel, even if they have millions of dollars in their accounts, tons of real estate, a beautiful wife, kids running their dream business. But if their expectations of themselves and others always exceed what they have, that difference is what keeps them feeling unhappy. But in another person's eyes, they're probably extremely successful. Someone somewhere probably lusts after them and their position. Like this video if you too believe that success and wealth are connected. The first habit of a wealthy, successful person is gratitude. When you know how to give thanks, you can really take possession of all that you have. Until you give thanks, you don't lay claim on what you have. You don't feel like you own anything. More than anything else, people fall into the trap of expectation and devaluation if you're not thankful for all the things that are working out for you. It may be some small outcomes or achievements. Yes, there's always someone who has more or can do more and better. But in reality, that's a trap. The trap is that when you compare yourself to others and don't give thanks for what you have, you can't really experience that success. And a person can have a family, a big house, airplanes, flights, their dream job, or millions of subscribers. But if they are not grateful for it, they don't have that feeling of ownership. It passes you by. Turns out that the hardest part is not achieving success, but experiencing it when it comes. So here's how to learn to give thanks. Think back to 2020. And take a moment to recognize the wealth that each of you already have. Start giving thanks for that. For simply being able to watch this video, for having eyes, hands, and other body parts, for having something to eat today, or at least yesterday. And that's when the world opens up in completely different colors, letting you claim it for yourself. That's when you feel truly wealthy no matter the circumstances. And that's when the opposite process kicks in. You feel successful and wealthy from the beginning. No, not better than others. Not like I'm the big deal and everyone else is a chump, but instead, I already have everything I want. I am alive, I can breathe, I can see, I can feel, I can do anything. And until I'm gone, I can still make a difference. Or maybe you don't want to make differences. It's enough to just learn to enjoy what you have. And that's what you need gratitude for. The second habit of a successful person is assigning value. Value of other people. Value of others first and foremost. And in turn, you will grow to appreciate yourself. What is the connection? If you, for example, devalue another person by saying, he's a jerk, or she's fat and ugly, or this guy is just a sham, or talentless, anyone can do that, and on and on and on. All those sentiments, devaluations that you throw at another person, in whatever form, they later come right back to you through your internal lack of self-worth. Because the things you say about the other person, they're not worthy, they don't have a diploma, they're an upstart, this one's ugly, crooked, sideways, and so on. All this judgment you direct at another person is exactly the same amount of judgment you absorb into yourself. That way, no matter what you do, no matter your accomplishments, career, cars, apartments, nice job, fancy position, whatever, you'll feel like the most indigent person in this world. Nothing is ever enough for you. And you yourself are always falling short. For example, a woman can actually be beyond beautiful, yet she will still feel like a fat, ugly mess. It's an awful feeling. And she'll get annoyed at others for being fat, whereas she has an awesome husband and a family, someone who loves her, children. It all comes from devaluing yourself and devaluing others. That is why a successful person, first of all, turns their attention inward and allows themselves to be imperfect and lets other people be. This is the habit of devaluing ourselves and others. It has deep psychological causes. This is a defense mechanism that a person needs to avoid experiencing the pain they feel from contact with the world. I suggest you follow the link and check out the free mini course. There I cover the basic human system settings and how those basic settings get messed up. You can also find some information on why a person would start devaluing others there, and more. The third habit of successful people is the habit of decision-making. Decisions are the most expensive thing in any successful person's arsenal. And decisions are something that no one else can make but you. If a person doesn't like to make decisions, keeps procrastinating and delaying a decision, they will either fail to become successful, or their journey will be long and torturous, and they will be making someone else successful instead. Because the people who are good at making decisions and following through with them, they are the ones who succeed. If you don't make decisions, then someone else is making them for you. Someone else decides for you what you should do, how you should act, and whose tune you are playing. As a result, you become a resource in the hands of another person who makes these decisions quickly and easily, and then acts on them. The next thing about successful people is their actions and the pace at which they make them. A successful person does things this way: think and do, think and do, think and do, think and do. There is very little time between the idea and the execution. It can take a day between conceiving a project and then carrying it out. 2 at most. Just start, make something happen. And don't let your perfectionism take over. What? I can't do it poorly. I'm a genius. I'm an expert. Do you think it's better to do nothing at all than to do it poorly? And so you end up doing nothing. But in your mind, you're convinced you're some kind of expert. And so many projects, activities, relationships, anything else are all rotting away inside you. And you may find yourself not doing very much at all. So this energy to do something comes at the moment you have an idea. You get the idea. Maybe I should meet up with my friend. You come up with, I want to start running. You think, it would be great to get this project off the ground. Make the first step. Write to that person. Gather information online. Hire a professional. Initiate this first step somewhere. Or are you thinking of going on vacation? Take the time to choose and buy tickets so that you can get to that point of no return. And when you get used to taking action all the time, your next burst of energy comes with them. Successful people are very lazy people. They make their sloth work for them. Engine of progress. When you're just too lazy to do the extra steps, you come up with the most direct route to achievement. You probably have things that stop you from making decisions and taking action. Perhaps it's anxiety or some kind, fear of interacting with something. Tell us in the comments why you're still not taking action, and then read it and laugh at yourself. It's a cool trick, by the way. The current point about action might make some of you think that a successful person is someone who does a whole lot, but that's not true either. There are people who do a lot of things, but nothing important, specifically to avoid doing the important thing. As weird as it sounds, it happens that a person hides behind a bunch of trivial actions to avoid making important decisions and taking critical actions. Many people are just too busy to become successful. If I come up to you and tell you, honey, you have a clear shot at this project. If you do the first steps, you'll make your money, you're definitely going to make it. Many of you will answer, I just don't have the time. I'm busy. No time to catch up, no time to get to know each other, no time to start anything. I'm such a busy person. I got kids, I have to get food and stuff, I have charity projects, I have to help mom and dad. I'm just incredibly busy. Many of you just don't have time to become wealthy and successful. The next habit of a successful person is how many times they try. As strange as it may sound, what moves a person towards success is how many times they have tried and how many times they have failed. And with each new attempt, they realize what went wrong. Just like Thomas Edison. I believe before he created the light bulb, he made 1,000 of failed attempts. You could quit by the 30th attempt, and you would be considered a reasonably persistent person. So what distinguishes a successful person from an unsuccessful one is how many times they try. When an unsuccessful person encounters some kind of trouble, when something stops working or something fails, the unsuccessful person quits. They think, that's not my thing. Or they persevere and keep doing the same thing, even though it doesn't work, put more and more effort into it. And a lazy, normal, successful person keeps trying, but in a slightly different way. Trying again, and trying again in slightly different ways until they get it right. So the best thing that can happen to you is when things stop working for you. If you fail at something, an attempt goes nowhere. It means that you have reached a new limit of possibility. Let's say you had something that was working, and suddenly it broke. You need to make some new efforts to make the system more resilient. You try it in a new way, then you get to the next stage and it breaks again. And you try it again in a new way. And that's how you build experience. That's how you become an expert. That's how you start understanding the risks, opportunities, and situations. And any situation where you fail is a new opportunity for you. Because if you had everything working the first time, you wouldn't have any motivation to keep trying. If it works, don't touch it. Why change something if it's fine as it is? It only matters when it stops working like it used to. You get the chance to evolve and change things, to try other ways of doing it.